2nd is Elections Day, and Guyana and Qatar sign air service agreement. This is InfoHub Recap. Stay with us for the next half an hour as we take you through major stories covered during the week September 21 to 27.
The future of Guyana has never looked better. Our nation is on the cusp of a development program like never seen before. While Guyana is now emerging as an energy giant through the discovery of massive reserves of oil and natural gas, it is your government's intention that the huge benefits emerging from this will go where it matters most, to you, the people of this beloved country. There is a surge of confidence in the way Guyana is governed once again, and the level of investor interest is unprecedented. Guyana is poised to become the breadbasket of the region, and the pace at which this nation will grow through prudent fiscal management will be nothing short of impressive. But more than anything else will be the way every Guyanese, regardless of color, class, or creed, becomes a part of this historic period of national transformation, sharing in the wealth and well-being of it all as one Guyana.
Thanks for joining us. On Wednesday, the news came that a date had been selected for the holding of general and regional elections. In an address to the nation, His Excellency President David Granger announced March 2, 2020 as the date for elections.
Guyanese, the government, since the passage of the no-confidence motion in the National Assembly on the 21st of December 2018, has respected the decisions of the courts and upheld the Constitution. We challenged the validity of the no-confidence motion and defended the challenge to the constitutionality of the appointment of the chairman of the Elections Commission. The legal processes were neither frivolous nor aimed at delaying the consequences of the no-confidence motion. They sought to clarify and interpret the Constitution and to ensure that general and regional elections would be conducted on the basis of a credible list. I have complied with the rulings of the courts, upheld the Constitution of Guyana, and respected the National Assembly at all times. I engaged the Election Commission from February 2019 repeatedly. I insisted that credible elections be held at the earliest possible time. Credible elections are essential to representative democracy. Guyanese, the chairman of the Elections Commission, Justice Claudette Singh, wrote me last Thursday, the 19th of September 2019, indicating that, and I quote, "The Guyana Elections Commission will be able to deliver credible elections by the end of February 2020. I convened a meeting of available cabinet ministers that very day, within hours of receiving her advice, to discuss the timeline provided to me by the chairman. A second meeting of the full cabinet was held yesterday, the 24th of September 2019, when all members accepted the advice provided by the chairman of the Elections Commission. Cabinet ministers also benefited from the advice of Attorney General and Minister of Legal Affairs, Mr. Basil Williams, and were guided by the need to adhere scrupulously to the advice of the Elections Commission. I met Chairman of the Elections Commission, Justice Singh, this afternoon, Wednesday the 25th of September, when she discussed the statutory timelines for the forthcoming general and regional elections. Guyanese, Guyana will observe its 50th anniversary as a republic on Sunday, the 23rd of February 2020. The following day, the 24th of February 2020, will be a national holiday. I am pleased to announce that, after discussions with the chairman of the Elections Commission and with my cabinet, the earliest possible date for the holding of general and regional elections will be on Monday, the 2nd of March 2020. The Constitution states, notwithstanding its defeat, the government shall remain in office and shall hold an election within 3 months or such longer period as the National Assembly shall, by resolution supported by not less than 2/3 of the votes of all the elected members of the National Assembly, determine, and shall resign after the President takes the oath of office following the election. The extension of a period beyond 3 months for the holding of an election is related to the Elections Commission's readiness to hold elections. The government of Guyana must, as a consequence, return to the National Assembly to request an extension. The National Assembly reconvenes on the 10th of October 2019. The President is required to both dissolve Parliament as provided for in the Constitution and the 10 regional democratic councils, also as provided for in the Constitution. The Constitution again states, an election of members of the National Assembly shall be held on such a date within 3 months after every dissolution of Parliament, as the President shall appoint by proclamation. The Constitution states further that the President may, at any time by proclamation, dissolve Parliament. The Constitution provides that elections of members of regional democratic councils shall be held and the councils shall be dissolved at such times as, subject to paragraph 3, the President may appoint by proclamation. Guyanese can now look to the Elections Commission to conduct credible elections within the time frame prescribed. Guyanese, we are on the right path to preserve our precious parliamentary democracy. Thank you, and may God continue to bless Guyana.
The head of state has accredited the High Commissioner of Guyana from the Kingdom of Lesotho as the country continues to expand its international relations.
During brief remarks, President David Granger noted that the two nations have enjoyed cordial relations for 40 years and looks forward to building on these ties.
Guyana is keen on discussing and developing ways in which we can improve relations between our two countries, especially in the field of trade, investment, agriculture, and energy.
High Commissioner of Guyana from the Kingdom of Lesotho expressed his nation's interest in furthering bilateral cooperation with Guyana.
Lesotho and Guyana are two small, geographically distant countries with their diplomatic relations established in 1979. Being the first ever High Commissioner of the Kingdom of Lesotho to Guyana since our established relations, I feel it a great privilege for me to be accorded an opportunity to kickstart our bilateral cooperation since reception of our diplomatic relations.
President Granger congratulated the High Commissioner on his appointment and assured the coalition government's commitment to cooperation during his tenure.
This week, at the 7th anniversary celebrations for the founding of the People's Republic of China, President Granger applauded the country for its social and economic progress over the past 7 decades.
The Cooperative Republic of Guyana extends congratulations to His Excellency President Xi Jinping and to the government and people of the People's Republic of China on the occasion of the auspicious celebration of the 70th anniversary of the founding of the People's Republic of China on the 1st of October, 1949.
The head of state, accompanied by the Honorable Prime Minister Moses Nagamutu and wife, Mrs. Sita Nagamutu, and Minister of Legal Affairs Basil Williams, who performed the duties of Minister of Foreign Affairs, celebrated with the People's Republic of China on Monday evening at what was deemed as the National Day of the People's Republic of China. In China, the day is a public holiday to celebrate the anniversary of the founding of the country. Celebration goes for an entire week and is dubbed Golden Week.
Guyana applauds China for its social and economic progress over the past 7 decades. China has achieved much to ensure consistent and positive development in transforming infrastructure and improving technology.
With Guyana and China establishing diplomatic relations 47 years ago on June 27, 1972, President Granger acknowledged that these relations continue to be strengthened through cooperation in economic and cultural fields and have resulted in the conclusion of agreements and exchanges, particularly in infrastructural development and training.
Guyana is grateful to China for its contribution to infrastructure development of our country through the construction and rehabilitation of this very building, the Arthur Chung Conference Center, the upgrading of the Chedi Jagan International Airport, the construction of a 4-lane highway on the east coast of Demerara, and the Sheriff Street Mandela Avenue Road Enhancement Project. China has been a reliable partner in the development of Guyana's human resources. This is evident in the recent awarding of scholarships to 11 Guyana Defense Force officers to pursue advanced studies in China, mainly in scientific, technological, and engineering fields.
Felicia Valenzuela, InfoHub.
Whilst appearing on radio program Insight, Prime Minister the Honorable Moses Nagamutu emphasized that the coalition continues to be the government of all the people of Guyana.
This government is alive and is well. The government is strong, sturdy, and energetic. The government continues to be the government of all the people of Guyana. Its legitimacy derives from the people who voted it into office.
Prime Minister Nagamutu also explained the process whereby credible regional and general elections can be held.
We have an unusual situation in Guyana. There having been a no confidence motion, the Constitution kicks in. The Constitution says that after the successful passage of a no confidence motion, elections shall be held within 90 days, or at a later period, any longer period, that is beyond 90 days, as the Parliament shall decide by a 2/3 majority.
The Prime Minister further clarified that after such time that the Assembly agrees that elections could be held, the President then would issue a proclamation naming that date for the holding of elections.
So this is a process that you must understand step by step and not fall under any misapprehension that the government is not observing those steps. All Guyanese now know that you have the word of the President, that the earliest date within which an election should be held is March the 2nd, 2020. We have provided a leadership that produces calm and stability in the country, and we want to maintain that calm and stability and to ensure as a democracy that the world has come to respect, that we can have new elections.
For InfoHub, Anara Khan.
Guyana's economy continues to move steadily upwards, attracting tons of investors daily. This was observed by Minister of Finance, the Honorable Winston Jordan, when he toured the new General Equipment Guyana facility at Houston.
The spanking new facility at S15 Plantation Houston, East Bank, Demerara, provides services in the agriculture, mining, and most recently the oil and gas industries. Finance Minister the Honorable Winston Jordan, along with Minister of Natural Resources Raphael Trotman and Minister of Business Himraj Rajkumar, today toured the new facility.
Again, it shows the expression of confidence in the economy that they could have built a third property like this and so extensive. And happily, there are two of the top sectors in Guyana, mining and agriculture.
The investment saw the transfer of the general equipment to the $417 million facility. It provides a space for operation training in the various sectors. Operations Manager Shelty Van Dyke said that the company has incorporated an energy-efficient system to the building. He also said that the training opportunities afforded at the facility are second to none.
In equipment business, equipment doesn't maintain itself. It has to be maintained by people. And so we are constantly training young people to be able to maintain heavy equipment for the mining, agriculture, also for the oil companies, which is then material handling and power generation.
Minister Jordan reiterated the confidence of the local and international investors and encouraged the company to employ as much persons as possible from the local community. Reporting for InfoHub, Alexis Rodney.
In another expression of confidence, an air services agreement was signed between the civil aviation authorities of Guyana and Qatar. The pact will see Qatar Airways beginning passenger and cargo flights to Guyana. Signing on behalf of Guyana was Director General of the Guyana Civil Aviation Authority, retired Colonel Egbert Field, and the Chairman of Qatar Civil Aviation Authority, Abdullah bin Nasir Turki Al Sabeh, on behalf of his country. The arrangement will allow Qatar's national carrier, Qatar Airways, to operate any number of passenger and cargo flights, as well as cooperation between the carriers concerned. It also permits Qatar Airways to have an operation center in Guyana to fly to any country in the region and other regions as well. Good news for persons traveling to Suriname. The ferry service is sailing again. InfoHub's Shaquille Bourne was at Molson Creek for MB Sadaka's maiden voyage on that route.
After nearly 4 months of the Kanawaima ferry being out of operation due to much needed repairs, the MB Sandaka that formerly transported residents between Parika and Legwan will now transport passengers between Molson Creek and Paramaribo. Some of the passengers that departed for Suriname shared their excitement with the resumption of the ferry service.
I feel proud that the vessel is back again because it was more a rafting with a little boat. At the end of the day, the ferry is much more better.
I find it is good for the people so that they could get something in the meantime that is repairing. So I think it's good for the people, for both sides, for Guyana and Suriname, so that they could cross with no fear.
Providing an overview of the operations, Deputy Superintendent within Kanawaima Ferry Incorporated, Dane Harry, categorized today's reopening of the ferry as good.
We have had 120 passengers and 5 vehicles. And so we are off to a very bright start.
On the vessel's return from Suriname, we caught up with the first 2 passengers that arrived in Guyana to gather their thoughts on the ferry service.
I'm comfortable, I'm more safe, I'm satisfied with, with what the government did, It eased a lot of people.
To be honest, if this wasn't working, I would have got to go to the back track.
MB Sandaka's operation between Region 6 and Suriname follows an announcement by Minister of Public Infrastructure David Patterson on Monday after meetings with a Surinamese governmental delegation. On October 16th, the Kanawaima ferry will be back in operation. Reported from the ferry crossing in Molson Creek with videographer Tage Baldridge-Mahan, Shaquille Bourne, for InfoHub.
The push to ensure Guyana's gold mining industry is mercury-free is gaining traction with assistance from Conservation International. This is according to Minister of Natural Resources, the Honorable Raphael Trotman.
It's always something that we need to pay constant watch on, and we know we're doing our jobs when we get complaints both from the conservationists and from the miners in the same week, because our job is to manage the pace of development, and we do so, of course, by ensuring that there are roads into the different mining and forest areas or concessions. We ensure, of course, working in tandem with the EPA, GGMC, that turbidity of water is kept to a minimum, that's the disturbance, that the use of mercury is not widespread and rampant and therefore destructive. We try to ensure that communities are consulted.
Minister Trotman was at the time appearing as a guest on VOG's Insight radio program. He referenced incidents at Chinese landing and within the boundaries of the Kaieteur National Park and the steps taken 2 years ago to halt illegal operations.
Sometimes you're caught you're in a dilemma, because on the one hand you're told that mining is illegal, and on the other hand you're told that you're interfering with people's livelihoods. But it just highlights the tension between managing people, managing resource development, and the pace of that development.
According to the minister, the aim is to ensure that the extractive industry operates within the context of the Green State Development Strategy as it oversees the industries countrywide. He cited the example of the Kingdom of Norway as one to follow.
Another family from the hurricane-devastated Bahamas arrived home and was met by Minister of Citizenship, the Honorable Winston Felix, at the Chetty Jagan International Airport.
Arriving at approximately 2200 hours, the Cooper's family includes Vanessa Tate, her reputed husband Stevie Cooper Sr., and their 3 children, Stevie Cooper Jr., Stephen Cooper, and Steve Cooper. The family resided in Abaco, Bahamas. With the kind courtesy of the Caribbean Airline, seats were made available for the family. Minister of Citizenship, the Honorable Winston Felix, stated that the family is one out of the scores who have indicated their interest of coming to Guyana.
This family of 5, a reputed husband and wife and 3 children, are the ones who decided that they wanted to return to Guyana. The other issues with respect to citizenship issues would be sorted out. As you're aware, the husband is a Bahamian and the children are born to a Guyanese mother outside of Guyana. So these are issues which we would have to walk them through the process to regularization.
Minister Felix reiterated that the government is prepared to welcome and assist every Guyanese who are victims of the recent Hurricane Dorian upon their arrival back to their home soil. Meanwhile, Vanessa Tate described her experience as horrible.
It's nothing that no one wants to actually live through. Like, speaking about it, you'll get an impression, but actually going through it, it's an absolute difference. You know, like, it's a reality. Like, it's scary. We know people that became not just friends, but I would call family. Bahamians that actually entire families died. Our house, the entire roof came off. So it's like living out of a scary movie. It's like literally going through a scary movie.
On September 15, the Grimmans family was the first to arrive home following the devastating ordeal. Minister Felix has since indicated that 2 other Guyanese are scheduled to arrive next Sunday. For InfoHub, I am Kellon Rover.
The Cyril Potter College of Education has received a $50 million science lab upgrade with support from the Chinese government.
The massive upgrade is expected to produce high-performing trained teachers, which will significantly boost student outcomes, a priority of the coalition government. Delivering remarks at today's handing over ceremony was His Excellency President David Granger, who continually champions education as the best course for Guyana's development.
I believe in teachers' training. I believe that unless teachers are trained properly, students' education will be substandard. The quality of education in any society is related directly to the quality of its teachers. We will continue to work to provide teachers with the tools that they need to deliver education efficiently.
Education Minister Dr. Nicolette Henry explained that this advanced laboratory will bolster teachers' training and better equip teachers to perform in 21st century classrooms.
I have no doubt that equipment, consumables, and reagents acquired through this grant will enhance the science capabilities of this teachers' training college to more effectively discharge its mandate. If we intend to develop, we have to start with education.
Ambassador of the People's Republic of China to Guyana, Shui Jiansheng, said that this project is years in the making and that the Chinese government is excited to partner with Guyana to invest in educational advancement.
The most important foundation for Guyana is education. China will continue its assistance and support within the capacity for Guyana's development and stands ready to work with Guyana to upgrade our relation to a new level.
This massive investment into the lives of teachers is a direct investment into the education sector, ensuring a good life for all. Since 2015, teachers have received robust increases in allowances and salaries, and over 9,000 laptops have been provided to teachers nationwide. Natisha Isaacs for InfoHub.
Still in the education sector, another group of adolescent mothers is being given the opportunity to return to school. It follows the reintegration of several mothers in 2018 and earlier in 2019 at the Carnegie School of Home Economics and Mainstream Schools.
This batch of 75 young women brings the reintegration tally up to 225 adolescent mothers who are now equipped with skills and academic qualifications as a result of the policy championed by Minister of Education Honorable Dr. Nicolette Henry. The young mothers will be taking courses in fabric decoration, elementary cookery, and cake decoration. The reintegration is facilitated primarily by the Health and Family Life Education Unit within the Ministry of Education. Delivering remarks on behalf of the Education Minister, Colleen King Cameron, who serves as the coordinator of the Health and Family Life Education Unit, remarked that the program will create a better future for the adolescent mothers and their children.
You have been given the opportunity to reintegrate into the school system, to further develop yourself through technical and vocational education.
The initiative is seen as paramount to the development of women and girls in Guyana and seeks to provide the opportunity for young women to reach their full potential.
The ministry continues to unfold its plans for you young mothers who would have been unable to complete your education.
Earlier in September, Skeldon in Region 6 benefited from its first reintegration program, where 40 adolescent mothers were given the opportunity to return to school for the first time. Natisha Isaacs for InfoHub.
Driven by the need to help their community to become self-sustaining, the Tapin brothers have their eyes on being the biggest seedling suppliers in Linden, Region 10.
Linden farmers Cleveland and Oliver Tapin, members of the 1 Mile Community Development Council, are involved in the cultivation of seedlings which they use as a basis to promote agriculture and food security.
Promoting seedling production along with plants and farming, encouraging farming in the community for grow livestock also, like chickens, bird, chicken, like pigs and so on there, and also get permanent crop basically. Trying to see good subsistence in the communities so we could at least get something we need in this community. Some percentage trying for growing in this community and encourage other parts to do likewise. So you could spread and talk about farm food security is a way forward you could do it by doing this thing in community.
Cleveland has also been using his knowledge to explain the importance of buying localized seedlings.
Most farmers go out to the region like West Dem and buy large seedling and so on, but it's important that you grow seedling in your community because you have to do what we call stress, adaptation with plant also, and you can go to your own communities.
The work being done by the Tapin brothers is supported by the Honorable Minister within the Ministry of Agriculture, Valerie Adams-Yearwood, who urged the farmers attending the Linden Regional Agricultural and Commercial Exhibition to continue to grow their farmlands.
We have the lands for agriculture. We have the lands for manufacturing. Don't let anybody say to you, we don't have lands. We have. In Region 10, we want to expand our race. We want to grow more. We have the farmers. They have the wherewithal.
Reporting for InfoHub, Nikosi Bruce.
Several ministers of government are in the Rupununi region this weekend to meet and engage with residents of Region 9. The ministers will fan out to several communities in South Central, South and North Rupununi. Among the areas to be visited are Parishara, Apoteri, Toka, Yakarinta, Shulinab and Kumu. The exercise is organized to listen to the concerns of the residents and to craft solutions. Check our website at dpi.gov.gy and Facebook and Instagram pages on Saturday, Sunday 28 for reports on the meetings. Then join us Monday, September 30th for a detailed report on the exercise. This has been InfoHub Recap, which looked at major stories carried between September 21 to 27. Remember to subscribe to our website for more stories and follow us on our social media platforms. Have a safe and enjoyable weekend. Goodbye.